My name is Hanuman. I'm one of the co-founders and CEO at sharpsell.ai. In this particular series, we're trying to demystify sales enablement for those of us who are not very familiar with the concept and how these tools work. So, all right, let's get started. Okay, so what is sales enablement? I think this is a term that we're using a lot these days when it comes to sales tools, right? There are almost everything that we do can fundamentally is about enabling salespeople. So what is this? What are these new sales enablement tools? What do they do? I think as a category, or any tool that equips the salesperson with the right information, sales playbooks, content, and training, coaching, and so on to come across as experts when they meet their clients and make a really great impression and close deals. So any category of those, any group of those tools broadly fall under sales enablement. And at the core of it, sales enablement is about making sure that the sales guys have everything that they need at fingertips and they are able to kind of access them when as part of the sales process, and not look for a document in an email, a drive, a SharePoint, or a WhatsApp chat, or or in a CRM. So the speed at which they respond to their clients is extremely important, and sales enablement is just about putting all this together so that it is in a format that is readily usable by your sellers. So if becoming a trusted advisor to your customers and potential customers is so important, and make no mistake, almost every salesperson knows the importance of being an advisor. So why do they struggle? Broadly, it's about two challenges. The first one is about the mindset, right? As a salesperson, do I have that mindset and is willing to put in that effort to be well prepared, do my homework, understand the customer's pain point, do my research, have all the product collateral together, and just go and talk about it. And the second one is, am I someone who just wants to focus on my product, my pitch, and my way of selling, or am I someone who looks at a customer first approach where I want to understand their challenges, their pain points, and then figure out what kind of solution would work for them, and then figure out how my product can fit in that. So this is all about mindset. The other one is the lack of support. So sales is a hard job, and a lot of times we're all under pressure to hit our numbers, and it's not necessary that you have all the support that you need. So you probably would have gone through a one-time induction when you got the role, and you went through all the products and so on, and after that mostly it's about learning on the go. So you kind of you're on your own. You don't necessarily know what are the best practices, how do other customers, how do other salespeople sell, and so on. And you may not always have the right information with you. And one of the biggest challenges that the salespeople face, and one of the things that they really hate, is to keep repeatedly saying that, hey, I don't have that information, let me get back to you. And that's something that every salesperson wants to avoid. So it's about having that handy and at the right time, and having a sales playbook in place to make sure that they have all that. So I think the first one is about mindset, and the second one is about lack of support. So these are the two big issues. There are some of the basics and best practices that all of us can follow to kind of equip our sales folks. So first, make sure that you have a playbook in place. Something that clearly mentions what's your product, what's your ideal customer profile, what are the different customer profiles that you speak to, what are the challenges that they face, how does your product really help them, what kind of solutions you guys can provide, what are the typical objections, how to handle. All this has to be clearly written down in a format that's extremely easy to consume. Otherwise, every person would have their own way of handling it, and you wouldn't really have consistency of message across. I think that's a very important factor. The other one is about make sure that all the information, content, tools that salespeople need are at one place. Don't expect them to search at 10 different places email, their own computer, mobile, WhatsApp, CRM. So don't expect them to go through 10 tools to find the right solution and right information, and find out whether they have worry about whether they have the latest product brochure and competitor information and so on. And so make sure that they have all at one place, preferably as part of their process, preferably in a tool that they use day in and day out. Don't expect them to kind of use dozen tools. So it's a hard job out there. So don't make it harder. The other one is don't throw uh, content that's not easy to use at them. So don't make 20 slide presentations on each of your product and expect them to go through all that, and then pick up the right slide, pick up the right information when they're in front. Make sure that you are giving it in a format that's easy to digest, that's easy to use real time. So just I think the format is extremely important, and it's all about are you able to help them just in time when they really need it. I think that should be the focus. The question is, how do you measure the effectiveness of sales enablement, or how do you measure how salespeople becoming an expert advisor is helping your business, is helping the salesperson? That's a tricky question. There are no one size fits all answers to this question. So it depends a lot on your context, your specific sales process, and so on and so on. But broadly, there are certain thumb rules that you could look at, right? So one is to kind of look at the quality of conversations that they're having now versus before. If you are using any of these tools that kind of capture customer conversations, it's a fairly straightforward exercise where you could look at the quality of conversations, look at the kind of sales pitch that they're doing, and look at how they're handling their objections, and that's a very easy way to look at it. The other one is to look at the productivity, right? What is the average sales productivity of your typical sales guy before and after? Are they able to close more deals now? Are they able to sell deals at a higher value now? How has your product mix changed the way you want it to be, and so on and so on. And another important factor that we have seen is around sales cycle. So let's say we have a case where for one of our clients, where typically an average sales cycle for an insurance policy used to be around 3 weeks, and then after using this product, it kind of drastically come down. So there are a lot of times where salespeople are able to close the deals right in the meeting because they're able to make that compelling sales pitch. So how long does it take to close a sale is another important factor. Is there a significant improvement there? The other one is about how many customer specific personalized presentations are they making now compared to before? Because at the end of the day, more compelling personalized presentations based on the customer needs means more business. So that kind of gives you some kind of a causal relationship between the activity on the field and the actual sales. The other one is also about response time. So how long are they taking to kind of make a compelling presentation based on the conversation that they probably would have had? Are they sharing a proposal in 48 hours? Are they doing it in 1 hour? Are they able to do it in 5 minutes? So in a lot of cases that we have seen, the response times have come down from something like 2 days to 5 minutes, and that's massive. We all know that the trust that you can build when you respond faster is pretty high. So that's another one. So so as I said, it's all about productivity, sales cycles, the quality of conversations, the response times. So the good thing is we have enough tools these days to kind of look at all these metrics and do a fairly good estimate of how effective your sales enablement initiative is. All right, so I think that's been the focus of this episode, where understanding the importance of salesperson to be a trusted advisor. What's the need for it? How can you equip salespeople to be trusted advisors? What's the role of sales enablement in that? And what are the best practices around implementing sales enablement? Thank you for listening in, and see you in the next episode of Sales Enablement by SharpSell. We'll come back with another topic that's useful. Till then, goodbye.